the cloud that found its shape. Once upon a time, high above the rolling green hills of a bustling town in America, there floated a very special cloud. This cloud was not like the others. While the other clouds drifted confidently across the sky, fluffy and proud in their shapes, some round and puffy like giant marshmallows, some thin and wispy like spun sugar, this little cloud was unsure of itself. It did not know what shape it was supposed to be. Every morning, when the sun peeked over the horizon and the world began to wake, the little cloud would gaze down and watch children playing in the neighborhood park. It saw them pointing up at the sky, laughing and shouting, "Look, that one looks like a dragon." Or, "I see a bunny rabbit." The cloud would try to puff itself up, hoping to look like something wonderful too. But it always ended up looking a bit lopsided, more like a wobbly pancake than a magical animal. The other clouds would float by, sometimes forming long trains, sometimes gathering in bunches to shield the earth from the sun on hot afternoons. They seemed to know exactly what to do and how to look, but the little cloud would float alone, wishing it could find its shape. One day, as the wind began to pick up, the little cloud was blown far from its usual home. It sailed over forests, rivers, and fields of golden corn. Below, it saw a family of ducks swimming in a pond, their little ducklings trailing behind in a neat row. The cloud tried to copy their shape, scrunching itself into a long line, but it just ended up looking more like a squiggly worm. Feeling a bit discouraged, the little cloud drifted on, carried by a gentle breeze. Soon, it found itself above a busy city. Skyscrapers stretched up toward the sky, their windows glinting in the afternoon sun. The cloud admired their tall, straight sides and tried to flatten its bottom and make its top as square as possible, hoping to look just like a building. But instead, it ended up looking like a slightly squashed loaf of bread. Down below, people hurried along the sidewalks, some glancing up at the sky. A little girl sitting on a bench with her grandmother noticed the odd-shaped cloud and waved. The cloud tried to wave back, but of course clouds don't have hands. The girl giggled, her laughter drifting up through the air. The little cloud felt a bit better. Maybe, it thought, it didn't have to look exactly like anything at all. Just then, the wind began to blow stronger, pushing the little cloud toward the countryside once more. The sky was turning shades of pink and orange as the sun began to set. Birds flew in graceful V-shaped patterns, heading home to their nests. The cloud watched them, mesmerized by their beauty and unity. As the cloud floated along, it noticed something below, a group of children lying on their backs in the grass, gazing up at the sky. Their voices drifted up, soft and dreamy.
"I see a castle," one boy exclaimed.
"That one looks like a dinosaur," squealed a little girl. The little cloud shyly floated closer, wondering if anyone would notice it. Suddenly, a small boy with curly hair pointed up and shouted, "Look at that cloud! It looks like a big fuzzy blanket." The other children laughed. "It does. Or maybe it's a cloud that's trying to find out what it wants to be." The little cloud felt a warm, happy glow swell inside it. The children were using their imaginations, seeing all sorts of wonderful things in the clouds. Maybe, the cloud thought, it didn't have to look like a dragon or a bunny or a castle. Maybe it could just be itself, a cloud that was still figuring things out. That night, as the stars began to twinkle and the moon rose high in the sky, the little cloud drifted quietly above the sleeping town. It thought about all it had seen that day, the ducks, the skyscrapers, the birds, and most of all, the children who looked up with wonder and saw something beautiful, even in a cloud that wasn't quite sure of its shape. The next morning, the cloud awoke to a gentle tickle from the sun's golden rays. It stretched and yawned, feeling light and free. Instead of trying to look like something else, it just floated as it was, soft, a little bit lumpy, and wonderfully unique. To its surprise, the other clouds gathered around, curious about this little cloud that wasn't trying to copy anyone else. One big fluffy cloud rumbled kindly, "I like your shape. It's different from ours, and that makes it special." The little cloud blushed with pride. For the first time, it felt happy just being itself. It realized that the sky was big enough for all sorts of clouds, round ones, thin ones, and even ones that didn't quite know what they wanted to be. Below, the children in the park smiled up at their new friend, the cloud that had found its shape by simply being itself. And high above the world, the little cloud drifted on, happy and free, knowing it was perfect just the way it was. In the days that followed, the little cloud continued its journey across the sky. Sometimes it would swell with rain and sprinkle a gentle shower over gardens, helping flowers to bloom. Other times, it would drift lazily, casting cool shadows on hot summer afternoons. And always, it remembered the lesson it had learned, that being unique was something to be proud of. One afternoon, as the cloud glided over a wide, sparkling lake, it saw its reflection for the first time. The water shimmered in the sunlight, and the little cloud gazed down, surprised by what it saw. Its shape was soft and fluffy, with curly edges and a gentle curve, not quite like any other cloud it had ever seen. The cloud realized that, just like every person and every animal, every cloud had its own special shape, one that could change with the wind or the weather, but was always uniquely its own. Birds flying by would sometimes rest in its shade, chirping cheerful songs. Airplanes would soar around it, and sometimes rainbows would arc across the sky, painting the little cloud with colors it had never imagined. One day, the little cloud met an old, wise cloud who had traveled all around the world. The old cloud smiled kindly and said, "When I was young, I wanted to look like the other clouds too. But I learned that the sky needs all kinds of clouds, big and small, dark and light, round and squiggly. Together, we make the sky beautiful." The little cloud thought about that and felt a sense of belonging. It understood that it was part of a much bigger picture, and that its own shape added something special to the sky. As the seasons changed, the little cloud grew and changed too. In the spring, it floated gently over fields of wildflowers. In the summer, it helped to cool the earth. In the autumn, it drifted through crisp, golden afternoons. And in the winter, it even joined with other clouds to sprinkle snowflakes over the world below. No matter where it went or what shape it became, the little cloud remembered the children's laughter and the wise old cloud's words. It knew that being itself was the most wonderful thing it could be. And so, high above the earth, the little cloud continued its journey, sometimes a little wobbly, sometimes bold and bright. It watched over the sleeping towns, the busy cities, and the wide open countryside, always searching for new adventures and new friends. Whenever children looked up and pointed at the sky, the little cloud smiled down, knowing that, in their eyes, it could be anything. A dragon, a castle, a fuzzy blanket, or just a happy little cloud drifting by, content in its very own shape. And that, dear listeners, is the story of the cloud that found its shape, not by copying others, but by being itself, and discovering that the most beautiful thing in the world is to be uniquely you.